He was 27, broke, and sitting in the back of a small coffee shop with just $63 in his bank account. No fancy degrees, no family money, just a notepad full of frustration and one burning question: what do rich people do differently? That night, he didn't scroll Instagram. He didn't watch Netflix. He opened his laptop and started studying, obsessively, biographies, interviews, podcasts, financial statements, anything he could find about self-made millionaires. And within a few months, he noticed something strange. No matter where they came from, whether it was the Bronx or Silicon Valley, they all had the same 7 habits. Not 70, not 700, just 7. 7 money behaviors they repeated every single day that quietly built their fortunes year after year. Fast forward 6 years, he's a millionaire. Not because of luck, not because of hustle porn, but because of those exact same habits. And today I'm going to share them with you. No fluff, no filters, just the straight up truth about what separates the rich from the rest. If you've ever felt like you're working hard but getting nowhere financially, don't scroll past this. Because once you understand these 7 habits and actually apply them, your entire money game will change forever. Habit 1, they pay themselves first, no matter what. Most people get paid, and the very first thing they do is pay the world. Rent, groceries, subscriptions, bills, entertainment. And if there's anything left at the end, then they think about saving or investing. Maybe. But millionaires, they flip that logic completely. Before they pay a single bill, they pay themselves. Now, what does that actually mean? It means a fixed portion of their income, whether 10%, 20% or more, automatically goes into savings or investments the moment they get paid. Not later. Not if there's something left. It's non-negotiable. It's treated like a bill they owe themselves. This habit is powerful because it builds 2 critical things: discipline and momentum. Even if you're starting with just $50 or $100 a month, it's not about the amount. It's about sending a clear message to your future. I matter more than my bills. And guess what? Over time, this simple habit creates something magical: capital. And capital is the seed of every wealth-building opportunity that exists. Now let's talk psychology. When you pay yourself first, you automatically force your lifestyle to adjust to what's left. And that's a beautiful trick, because most people do the opposite. They inflate their lifestyle first and then hope to save from the scraps. Millionaires avoid that trap. They prioritize financial growth over temporary pleasure. They set up automatic transfers. They make their investment accounts invisible, and they train themselves to survive on the rest. The world tells you to reward yourself now, but millionaires, they reward their future self and let compound interest do the heavy lifting. Because over time, paying yourself first doesn't just protect your money, it multiplies it. That's how wealth is built quietly, even while you sleep. And this habit is the foundation for all the others. Habit 2, they track every dollar, every dime, every cent. Let's be honest. Most people are scared to look at their money. They guess what's in their account. They think they know where their money goes. But here's the reality. If you don't track your money disappears. Millionaires know this. That's why they track every single expense. Daily, weekly, monthly. Not because they're obsessed, but because they know that clarity equals control. They use apps, spreadsheets, or even a notebook. But they never leave it to chance. When $300 disappears on random food deliveries, they know. When subscriptions quietly drain $120 a month, they catch it. Because the truth is, wealth doesn't leak out in big chunks. It leaks in small habits. Tracking money isn't about being cheap. It's about being aware. And awareness leads to smarter choices. When you see the truth clearly in numbers, you naturally spend less on junk and more on things that matter. Millionaires treat their money like a business. Every dollar has a job. Every dollar is a soldier. And they don't let soldiers go to war without a plan. This habit also builds emotional intelligence with money. You start noticing your spending triggers: stress, boredom, peer pressure. You start recognizing patterns: the late-night food orders, the mindless Amazon scroll. And once you see it, you can fix it. Millionaires track because they want their money to serve them, not the other way around. And here's the bonus. When you track consistently, you start to enjoy it. You see progress. You feel in control. And over time, your wealth stops being a mystery and starts becoming a measurable result. Habit 3. They multiply their income, not just save it. Here's a truth very few people will tell you. You can't save your way to wealth if you're earning just enough to survive. Yes, saving is essential, but there's a ceiling to how much you can cut. There's no ceiling to how much you can earn. Millionaires understand this better than anyone. They treat income like a game of expansion, not limitation. They don't settle for one stream of income and call it a day. They build multiple. It might start with a 9-to-5 job, but then comes freelancing, a side hustle, a small online business, an investment property, a dividend stock portfolio, royalties, digital products. You name it. They try it, they test it, they build it. They're not just working for money. They're designing systems that make money work for them. And here's the mindset shift. Millionaires don't wait for a raise. They create one. They acquire high-income skills like copywriting, coding, marketing, speaking, or investing. They read, study, and apply because every new skill is a weapon in their income arsenal. And they're not afraid to start small. A $50 product, a $200 service. They launch it, learn from it, tweak it, grow it. Because the key isn't luck, it's leverage. Millionaires know that money flows to those who solve problems, provide value, and multiply results. So they look for leverage in time, tools, people, and platforms. They use AI, they automate, they delegate, they scale, they reinvest profits instead of blowing them on lifestyle inflation. And eventually they reach a tipping point where one stream covers their life and the others build their fortune. Millionaires don't worship frugality, they respect it. But they understand that wealth comes faster when you expand, not just restrict. That's why they obsess over income growth just as much as, or even more than, budgeting. If you want to become a millionaire, don't just save money, multiply your ability to earn it. That's the move that changes your financial trajectory forever. Habit 4. They delay gratification ruthlessly. In a world addicted to now, millionaires play the long game. They train themselves to say not yet instead of why not. The average person gets a paycheck, and the urge kicks in. New clothes, new phone, a night out, instant dopamine. But the millionaire mindset is different. They feel that urge too, but they pause. Not because they hate spending, but because they know something most people ignore. Every dollar you spend today is a seed that could have grown tomorrow. They ask deeper questions before every major purchase. Do I want this now? Or do I want freedom later? Is this comfort? Or is this a trap? Will I remember this in a year? Or regret it in a week? Millionaires don't live deprived. They just delay rewards until those rewards can be paid for by assets, not labor. Want a luxury car? Cool. Buy it with rental income. Dream vacation? Great. Let dividends fund it. They rewire their brain for delayed pleasure. And in doing that, they unlock a power most people never access. Control. Control over impulse. Control over emotion. Control over time. Because here's what most people forget. The ability to delay gratification is directly tied to success in fitness, relationships, business, and money. It's the reason millionaires don't jump on trends. They don't chase status. They don't feel the need to prove anything. They're building for something deeper: time freedom, legacy, and peace of mind. Every time they say no to a quick dopamine hit, they're saying yes to a long-term goal. They sacrifice like warriors in the short term, so they can live like kings and queens in the long term. And that habit, that's the silent superpower behind almost every self-made millionaire you'll ever meet. Habit 5. They read, study, and think like investors, not consumers. There's a moment in every millionaire's journey when they stop seeing money as just a tool to buy things and start seeing it as a tool to create more money. That shift happens when they stop thinking like consumers and start thinking like investors. See, the average person is trained to spend. We're taught to shop, to upgrade, to treat ourselves, to chase lifestyle. We measure success by what we wear, where we vacation, what we drive. But millionaires flip the script. They invest in what appreciates, not what depreciates. They focus on assets, not distractions, and most importantly, they educate themselves relentlessly on how money actually works. They read books, they follow financial newsletters, they study markets, Not obsessively, but intentionally. They know the difference between good debt and bad debt, between cash flow and capital gains, between paper assets and real assets. They ask powerful questions every day. Is this purchase making me richer or poorer? Is this decision building future income or just future bills? Will this help me earn while I sleep or keep me chained to working forever? Millionaires treat financial literacy like a daily habit, not a one-time event. They listen to podcasts while commuting. They read a chapter before bed. They run numbers for fun. Why? Because every new insight gives them an edge. And money flows to those with the highest clarity and calm under pressure. The investor mindset also helps them navigate risk. They don't fear it. They manage it. They spread investments across real estate, stocks, businesses, and sometimes even digital assets. But they never go all in emotionally. They study, calculate, then act. Because to a millionaire, money is a tool, not a trophy. And their brain? That's their greatest asset. While others chase shiny objects, they chase financial truth. And that one habit changes everything. Because when you understand money, you stop fearing it and start commanding it. Habit 6. They surround themselves with people who talk goals, not gossip. Here's the hard truth no one tells you. You can have millionaire habits, millionaire ideas, millionaire discipline. But if you surround yourself with people who think small, you'll shrink to fit the room. Millionaires are obsessed with environment. They understand that success isn't just about willpower, it's about proximity. They curate their circle like their life depends on it. Because it does. They spend time with people who talk about opportunities, not just complaints. They hang around minds that challenge them, not just comfort them. Ever noticed how in some groups, talking about investments sounds boring, or setting goals makes you too intense? Millionaires run from those rooms because they know that normal conversations lead to normal results. Instead, they seek out mentors, masterminds, online communities, and growth-minded friends. They ask questions like, what are you building this year? How are you diversifying your income? What habits changed your financial game the most? Millionaires understand energy is contagious. If you hang around 5 people spending recklessly, guess who becomes the 6th? But if you hang around 5 people building something meaningful, investing wisely and dreaming boldly, your standards rise automatically. And here's the thing, you don't need billionaire friends. You just need ambitious, focused, and disciplined people in your orbit. Even online, millionaires constantly audit their environment. If someone constantly drains their energy, they create distance. If someone elevates their thinking, they double down. They don't confuse loyalty with limitation, and they never let someone else's fear dictate their future. Because at the end of the day, your network shapes your net worth. And that's not just a catchy quote, it's a law of life. Habit 7, they track every dollar, like a CEO. Imagine walking into $1 million business, and the CEO has no idea how much money came in last month. No clue where it went, no record of expenses, no strategy for growth. You'd call that insane, right? Yet most people run their personal finances exactly like that one, blindfolded. Millionaires don't. They treat their personal money like a business because they know what gets measured gets mastered. They track every dollar, not because they're stingy, but because they're strategic. Every dollar has a job, a purpose, a mission. It doesn't matter whether they earn $4,000 or $400,000 a month. Millionaires know where every single dollar goes. They use apps, spreadsheets, journals, whatever works. But they never rely on memory. They review their income, expenses, savings, investments, and cash flow monthly, sometimes even weekly. It's not about micromanaging. It's about mastery. Millionaires look at numbers the way athletes look at stats, not to judge themselves, but to optimize performance. They set targets. I want to invest 30% of this month's income. I'll limit my lifestyle spending to under 20%. Let's reduce recurring costs by 10% this quarter. And then they review it, adjust, refine. Like a chess player studying their last match. Not for guilt, but for growth. This habit gives them clarity most people never experience. They don't feel lost when prices rise. They don't panic when something unexpected hits. Why? Because they already have a map. They make decisions with confidence. Can I afford this? Becomes, does this align with my goals? And they don't just track spending, they track growth. net worth over time, investment performance, debt reduction, income expansion. Because when you track your money, you control your future. Millionaires don't guess their way to wealth. They plan, they measure, and they execute. Like a CEO running a business designed to last. So if you've ever felt like money slips through your hands, start tracking it. Every dollar, every week, every category. It might seem boring at first, but over time it becomes addicting. Because nothing feels better than watching your financial life compound with clarity. Now take a breath. Ask yourself, which of these 7 are already part of your life? And more importantly, which one will you start today? Don't wait for more money to build better habits. Build better habits, and the money follows. Because millionaire status isn't a stroke of luck. It's a rhythm, a formula, a mindset repeated daily, not occasionally. Now here's your action step. If this video sparks something inside you, even just one shift in perspective, like it, save it, share it with someone who needs this clarity. And if you're ready for deeper financial transformation, hit that subscribe button. Because this channel is where we don't just talk about money, we master it. Remember, you don't get rich by chance. You get rich by choice. And every time you click play here, you're choosing wisely.